Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another Third Strike tutorial by yours truly, Midnight Green 20. This is going to be a little bit shorter of a subject compared to my Yang tutorial. This will not be a 3-hour video. Instead, it's going to be focused on one particular subject that I've been working on myself, and also I see a lot of people not really incorporating into the gameplay. And I'm talking about something called red parries. For those of you who are watching and have no idea what red parries are, they are a special kind of parry that are done when you are in block stun. So typically when you do a parry just in the middle of the neutral game with no attacks or not in block at all, and you parry move straight up, you get what people call a blue parry, and that's just a simple parry. Nothing special about it, it's just a regular parry. Red parries are only done when you're in the middle of block stun, so this means if there's a move that hits you multiple times, you can red parry at any point after getting hit from the first hit, and essentially you can think of it as canceling the block stun. Now, the one drawback to red parries, and this is probably the reason why you don't see a lot of people do it, is that the red parry activation window is much shorter than a regular blue parry. I want to say that a red parry is about 4 to 5 frames of activation, meaning that you have to get the hit or the timing of the red parry correctly within 4 to 5 frames, as opposed to a blue parry, which is roughly 10 frames, 10 to 12, something like that. I don't recall the exact number off the top of my head, but I know that the red parries are drastically smaller in activation time. So because of that larger degree of accuracy needed for red parries, you see more people just simply block attacks and only take a chance to punish when they know they have something that is completely minus on block, and they can get either like a good couple of like a good EX combo in, or a straight up super, depending on what the frame data is. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you guys a couple of moves that are often recommended to red parry because of the fact that they are either easy to red parry, or they carry low risk, or in a couple of cases both of those apply. So for the first move we're going to do, we're actually going to start off with a super, and that will be reuse SA1. So let me go ahead and set him up to do the super. Okay, good. And now we'll replay. And we'll attempt to red parry the last hit. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work again. Almost. There we go. But as you can see, there's two reasons why you want to at least attempt to red parry this. Taking one hit of damage from one hit of the super doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Now, considering that Yang is low health and you saw that it was a very small blip on his health, that imagine a normal health character would take very little to the super itself. And the other reason why it's actually not too bad to red parry this is because you don't actually get knocked down from it. With this super, the only way that that you get knocked down is if the first hit connects. So if I go ahead and not block this at all, now I'm launched. But any other time you attempt to red parry this later on in the super, if you get hit, you're not going to get sent back. So from here, you want to red parry this because you can get a better punish. In certain spacing, if you're a little bit too far away from you, a red parry will give you enough time to get to him and punish him, as opposed to blocking won't. Now, if you're point blank range, you can still punish it, but you can always red parry to get an even better punish. But you can still consider a victory the simple fact that he's wasting a super, and right there, if I were closer, I could have got close to medium punch, but I could have easily just done this as well. Let me try it again. Oop. Now he was out of space there, so I could have just EX slashed. But still, the same. It applies across the board for all characters. Pick your best punish at this point, and capitalize on the additional time that you do have to make a punish. Now we're going to do something. The next move is going to be very similar to reuse SA1, and that will actually be Goki's SA1. So we'll go ahead and switch up. So let me go ahead and set him up now. All right. And same thing. Now, whoa. Now his is a little tougher. His super hits 6 times, and the hits are, as you can see, are a little tightly packed. So this one is a little tougher. Whoop! That time I got a little too early. But it's the same idea. Oh. Well, there you go. So I missed the punish there. But as you can see, yeah, so his is going to be a little bit tougher to deal with, but it's still worth it in the end, because the same thing applies. The only time that you actually get sent up in the air and knocked down from the super is if the first hit connects, and the only thing you have to worry about is that the timing is a little bit tighter. So you may not get this one as easily as Ryu's SA1, but it's still worth the attempt. There we go. And even then, the other thing that's a little bit of benefit here too, and this is a little bit more of the case with his Super 1, SA1, as opposed to Ryu's, is that because of the hits are so densely packed, if you end up missing the red parry, you can still get a punish afterwards. Because he's still in recovery at this point. Because with Ryu's SA1, the hits are a little bit more spread out, so there's a little less of a chance to actually get the parry off, or the punish off, even taking that last hit. But with Goki, it's a lot different. So that is that's also good. So you can, no matter what, you get a punish. Even if you miss it, you get a better punish. But again, it's low risk. It's not a lot of damage to you if you miss it. Oh, actually, let me go to change level. So that is the second move. Now we're going to move on to another one, a third move. And this one's going to feature Elena. The super doesn't really matter because we're not doing a super this time. We're actually going to do a regular ass special move. And what I'm talking about this time will be none other than Mouth Smash. It's a 2-hitting move. Even when it hits, normally, it doesn't knock you down. It does a little bit of damage, a good amount of stun, but it can still be dealt with. So here, what I'm going to do is just reset the timer. And then, there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and... Oop. I'm doing it a little too early. Whoop. And there you go. This one's a lot easier to do because, as you can tell, the moves are much more... the 2 hits are a little bit more spaced out, so the timing is pretty easy. Now, I'm messing up here, but don't let that fool you. Because then you get that punish right there. And see? There we go. Now, we can also extend this to EX Mouth Smash as well. because the same thing applies. The timing of the red parry is going to be a little bit tighter, obviously, because the moves hit a little bit quicker. Whoop. Let me space this out again. And there, that's just as good because EX Mouse Smash is something that is safe on block. So if you're letting Elena do this to you little by little, you're giving them a free in so that they can then set up their car throw, or they can do some overhead stuff. They can do a little bit of a high-low mix-up. Nothing quite as scary as someone like Chun, for instance. But that's a move that you will see Elena's do occasionally to use as a free in to go over lows if they're catching you do something like a crouching medium kick. So in this case, you want to actually go ahead and punish the attempt. And look at that, like the amount of damage that you take is negligible. Even though I'm ruining the red parry right now. But that's also a testament to how accurate you have to be with the red parries. There we go. So yeah, this will be a third move you can work on. It carries a lot less risk to do. Not a lot of damage. And, you know, at that point, you're just trying to keep your opponent from getting a free in. But, you know, the timing is going to be a little tricky to work on. There we go. And there we go again. So that'll be the third move, and that is the one that I would say carries like really no risk at all. Now I'm going to finish off with two moves that are fairly easy to red parry, but they carry a little bit more risk. And I think these are worth doing, even considering that, at least to start off with. So let's go ahead, switch stage once again, and here it's going to be time for Alex. And with Alex, we are concerned with EX Elbow. So let's go ahead, set this up. Okay. Now this one doesn't do a ton of damage on the second hit, but you get a knockdown. But on the plus side, you see that you get a pretty easy punish. Now the main reason why you want to actually attempt to do this is because the knockback on this is pretty bad. So you know, I can't even punish, like with Yank, for instance. I can't punish with EX slashes. The only way I can punish it is with a reversal super, and only reversal super. If I mess up the timing and get a regular timing of a super, he'll have enough time to block it, and then at that point I'm up in the air and he gets a free huge punish. But with Yang, at least, if I get the red parry, then I get a simple EX slash combo, and it's a much better situation for me, because then at that point it's an easier punish, more consistent, and I also save meter. And this could also be the case with other characters in the game too, because Alex will be right point blank with you, that at that point you don't even have to spend all the meter that you have to punish him. You can go ahead and get a simple meterless punish if you're looking to build meter. You can use an EX combo, that way that the EX combo will save you a little bit of meter in the long run. And in cases like with Ryu, if you're using EX Donkey Kick, then that's a good chunk of damage and a good amount of stun on top of it. So punishing this with red parrying this, while it does carry some risk with the knockdown, and you do at that point risk getting put in the blender, so to speak, against Alex, the reward I think is well worth it. And this one is also like the hits are kind of they're spaced out pretty well. So this is, I would think, one of the easier red parries that you can do in terms of timing. And so like, even just compared to all the others I was attempting beforehand, I'm getting this one off with much more consistency. So keep that in mind when you're fighting against Alex. Allow them to go ahead and charge up EX elbow and start thinking to themselves, alright, I'm going to use this to get in. Maybe you catch a normal, catch him like whiffing something in the long run, or maybe even like he's going to jump and then land and I'm going to hit him on his way down. This is a good way to lure this is a good tactic to lure them out, and if you have your red parries down, this can really shut down a lot of their approaching game. So this is a much more debilitating red parry to do. And like I said, even though there is risk with it, with getting a knockdown, you do take out one of his better tools, and you can really take over the match if you can get that down. And then finally, I'm going to suggest one more move that's a bit easier to do. Again, it's going to carry some risk, but I think it is worth it in the end. We're going to go with our stretchy boy, Necro. And the one move in particular that I'm going to be focusing on, let's go ahead, is jab spinning fist. Now the reason why you want to red parry this move is because it puts you like in a similar situation where with Yang, for instance, like this is a pretty good parallel, like with getting a slash on block, because at that point Yang can use this to get in and then start his mix up, so like parrying if you're trying to flinch and get out of this, and then you can hit it with a crouch and light kick, and you can also use throw and stuff like that. Well, Necro is pretty similar with the jab spinning fist, in that he could get you to block, and then he could walk up throw you. He could do another spinning fist to catch you pushing a button. He could just simply check you with a crouching jab, and then, or even crouching a light kick, and kind of tick you and make his way in. But if you're able to shut this down, then you can keep him from generating easy offense. And with a character like Necro, who doesn't have an easy time generating in-your-face offense at the very beginning, if he is able to establish that jab spinning hook pressure, then it's almost game over for you at that point, because then he can easily get in at any time he wants, and on top of having the space control with his normals, you're going to be looking for a hard time keeping him away from you, and you're going to find yourself in the corner pretty quickly. But if you're able to red parry this with consistency, and it's also another one that's pretty well spaced out, then you can utilize this to your advantage, because the other spinning hooks are both pretty bad on block. A lot of the fierce one is punishable by everyone, even without a super. The second one, some people can they could probably get like Yank. I think he can get like light kick to EX slashes. If not, he might be able to just do EX slashes. Ken, I think he can do like sure you. So that's pretty beefy of a punish on itself for the medium punch one, and the fierce, that's a big chunky punish. But the jab one in particular is not. So if you want to try to get him off of you, and he's attempting to do this to try to keep you on your toes and keep you in the corner especially, this is your way out, and you're going to be wanting to look for this. So I would go ahead and say that these are the 5 primary red parries that you should focus on, just to get in the habit of looking for things to red parry down the line. Obviously, after these moves, it's gonna have a lot more risk involved. You can red parry stuff like target combos. You can red parry like shorts, and like short like that, like stuff like this. You can red parry and other multi-hitting moves, but a lot of the others in the game are going to be a little bit riskier to do, and in some cases it will be better to just block them straight up and not always attempt a red parry. But a red parry is good to give you an opportunity to turn the tables and get an opening that most people won't see coming, because they're expecting you to block in the situations, like if they're doing a target combo like Ken's medium punch, heavy punch, they're not really expecting you to red parry that at all. They're expecting you to block, and then yeah, there's going to be some pushback, and you can, work your way out from that point. But they're not expecting that to be punished at any point. And so red parry can really turn the tide in your favor, but it's something that will carry a lot of risk, and it really is a mindset you have to get yourself into. And so I feel like these 5 moves that I have given you should help you start looking for those opportunities later on, and at least trying them out for yourself. You may not get them, but when you're playing against people in casual matches, it's always worth experimenting and trying out for yourself, and also going into training mode and grinding out the execution for them. So I hope that this video helps you with that, and hopefully you start incorporating red parries into your gameplay. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I'll try to answer anything with the best of my ability. And until then, just be on the lookout for another tutorial. Who knows what the subject's going to be? And also hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, won't you? Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.